legislative process. So yeah, it's couldn't ask for a more beautiful day. It's just absolutely gorgeous out here. This is my little one, Caitlin, here. But it's just a beautiful day. So now that I'm actually streaming mobile, I am streaming on Haps, which projects me to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, and all the different platforms. But unfortunately, I don't have all the different screens pulled up on a second monitor. Hey, Sin, how are you doing? So I can see your comments and I can respond live to them, but I can't answer them in chat today. So there are just a few things I wanted to talk about this evening. As far as updates go, there's not a whole lot that has changed in the last week, unfortunately. Our legislative session is done, thankfully. Unfortunately, there was some irreparable damage done by our legislators. I had been doing my weekly live stream legislative recaps on Friday evenings for the last several weeks. And, if y'all have been keeping up, then you know how terrible some of these bills that were, passed into law are for the people of Arkansas. I want to just iterate one of those bills that's been kind of bothering me these last 48 hours. I'm not sure how many people know, but our state legislators actually made it harder for citizen-created ballot initiatives to become law. What that means is, number one, they made it harder for people to collect signatures to petition ballots. You now have to be a resident of the state to petition ballots. You cannot be paid per signature. You have to be paid an hourly wage to get signatures. And many other things as far as passing federal, state background checks. You can no longer be a felon and collect signatures. They added some misdemeanors in to prohibit people from being allowed to collect signatures, such as drug offenses. So anyone, say, with a possession offense for cannabis 20 years ago when they were 18, they are not eligible to even just collect your signature to get an initiative on the ballot. So they've made it substantially harder, nearly impossible, to get away from people so I can take this off. But they made it nearly impossible for citizen-created ballot initiatives to make it onto our ballots. We saw in 2020, we had 6 initiatives that were to be on the ballot. 3 of the initiatives were created by Arkansans that got the required amount of signatures, and the other 3 initiatives were actually created by our state legislators. Now, the 3 ballot initiatives created by Arkansans that received over 100,000 signatures each, so I believe over 300,000 signatures for these ballots from Arkansan registered voters, the Secretary of State, John Thurston, removed those initiatives from our ballots. He used some technicality, changed the rules around, and made sure that all 3 of the initiatives created by citizens were removed from the ballot. We didn't even get to vote on them. One of them would have been creating an independent panel that would have been 3 Republicans, 3 Democrats, and 3 independents for redistricting. He took that off, even though it got the required signatures. Now we have the GOP being led by Jason Rapper doing redistricting here in Arkansas. So we're expecting extreme gerrymandering for our next elections. Another one, let's see, what were the other ones? Oh my gosh. I know one of them had to do with casino licensing, and golly, I just can't pull off the top of my head what the third one was, but it was an important one. And the 3 initiative ballots that we were able to vote on our ballots in 2020 were created by our state legislators. So on top of our state legislators making it harder to get initiatives onto the ballot, they have now changed the law. So now if a ballot petition does get the ballot initiative gets the required amount of signatures and people vote to pass it on the ballot in the election, our state legislators have to vote by 60% to approve the citizen initiative. So we saw problems such as when we voted to increase the minimum wage here in Arkansas, we had state legislator pushback over, and they tried to overturn this ballot initiative to increase minimum wage. Um, she ended up failing, the legislator who was trying to do this. But with this new law, then when we raised our minimum wage, we would have had to have our state legislators vote to approve the minimum wage increase at 60%. And when you have 72 Republicans to 22 Democrats in the House, which is an extreme majority, there's just no way we're going to get initiatives like this passed. Another example would have been medical marijuana. When the people got the signatures for medical marijuana, we voted on it, we passed it and approved it. With this current new law, our state legislators would have voted to overrule or override our signed law. How crazy is this? So that's something I really wanted to talk about that did come out of our legislative session that hasn't really been talked about enough. But I think it's very important. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about with y'all this evening is I'm extremely disappointed in Governor Asa Hutchinson right now. We have been allocated federal funding for COVID relief unemployment insurance. This money isn't coming from the state, from state funds. This money is coming from federal funding that has already been allocated to the people of Arkansas. And Governor Asa Hutchinson he eliminated those unemployment benefits, just straight eliminated them. And what that means is that Arkansans who are unemployed right now, who are unable to find work for one reason or another, they just lost $3,000 each in federal allocated unemployment insurance money. So I am extremely disappointed in Governor Asa Hutchinson for overreach. The reason that he did this, his reasoning for it, and the GOP's reasoning, is that people are lazy and they'd rather sit at home for $300 and go out and work, so employers aren't able to hire people and businesses can't open because they can't get employees to work for them and different things like that. Well, the fact is, this was a concern back when unemployment, COVID relief insurance was adding $600 a week. And a research institute went out, they had papers written on this. They researched the impacts of this $600 check affecting people's ability, or not ability, but wanting to go out and get a job rather than just collecting their unemployment check. And they found in majority that was not true. There was no substantial evidence proving those facts, that people for $600 didn't want to work. So they're trying to tell us that an amount half of that, for $300, people are just wanting to sit at home, be lazy and collect a check and not want to go to work. So that's why employers aren't able to hire people right now, why there's worker shortage, which realistically our unemployment rate in Arkansas is only 3%, which it was 10% a year ago. And we're one of the lowest unemployment states in the country. Well, it's just not true. The reason people don't want to go and work for a company, I see most of these jobs have to do with wait staff, servers and things like that. Well, the fact is that these employers are trying to pay these people $2 an hour. Are you going to want to go work for $2, $2.15 an hour plus tips when COVID is still a factor, when people are ignoring mask mandates? They believe COVID doesn't exist and they don't care about your health as their server. They don't have extra money necessarily to tip you because the economy's bad. These are just a lot of factors that are coming in. And I think it's not something as simple as people don't deserve unemployment because they're too lazy to go get a job. That's just not the way it works. And when federally funded or federally allocated money is coming into our state for this sole purpose and getting turned away by our governor, which is causing $3,000 per Arkansan on unemployment to just pull that money right out of their hands, I think it's absolutely disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourself, Asa Hutchinson. Sorry, I try not to use language like that, but it's a fact, man. I don't know what these people are thinking. But it's again, my name is Dan Whitfield. I'm out here right now at Others Day. I kind of stepped away from everyone so I could take my mask off and talk to y'all a little bit better. But there's a few people over here. Everyone seems really kind. I'll probably end up speaking here in a little bit. This event is actually being hosted by Russ, who is a Democratic candidate for governor running against Sarah Huckabee Sanders, who most of y'all know, and Attorney General Leslie Rutledge. Yes, honey. Okay, I will. Um, but if you're out in the Little Rock area, I believe this event's going to be here till 9. So I'll be here until 9. If you guys have any questions, want to come out, get to know me, get to know some other candidates. We have, of course, Russ, who's a candidate for governor. And we have the gentleman who is running for lieutenant governor against Jason Rappert. Very important race that people are going to need to keep an eye on. We've got 3 strong Democratic candidates here. So come out, ask us questions, get to know us a little bit, and tell us how we can help represent you in the state and in the federal government. But I'm going to go ahead and end this live stream for now. I'll do my next live stream at my regular scheduled time, which will be next Saturday, 6 p.m. Central. Talk a little bit about this event and give you guys any other updates. But y'all have a good night. My name is Dan Whitfield. May God bless y'all. May God bless America. And may God bless Arkansas.